That's mic test. Girish, can you hear me? Test mic test. 1, 2, 3. Test mic test. Girish, can you hear me?
Yeah, Professor, you are audible.
All good.
Yes,
No,
sir.
I
Good
can hear you
morning.
as well. All
Dr.
good.
Rahul.
Happy morning.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Girish sir, you
Yeah, good morning, sir.
will start the if time is there.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Ma'am is ready. 2 minutes, 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Rashi Dubey from the Department of MBA, Sanjivani University. It's my immense pleasure to welcome you all to the International Educational Leaders Virtual Summit 2026 on the theme Empowering Global Higher Education through AI, Future Skills, Borderless Research, and Student-Centric Innovation. It is jointly organized by Sanjeevani University, India, Mablakat City College, Philippines, and University of Technology and Applied Science, Shinaz, Oman. This summit brings together eminent education leaders from across the globe to explore artificial intelligence, future-ready skills, borderless research, and student-centric innovation are redefining the future of higher education. We are honored to have with us distinguished speakers from the USA, Australia, Malaysia, Philippines, Oman, and India, along with the participants joining us from India, Malaysia, Philippines, Oman, South Africa, and several other countries. We are privileged to have with us our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Dr. Ajay Thakur, Sir, for inaugural session. He is a distinguished academic leader, researcher, and higher education administrator with over 36 years of excellence in teaching, research, and
Ay,
institutional leadership.
ini-invite nila ako. Hindi ako regular.
Before assuming the role
Masama-samahan
of
mo sa
Vice
kanila.
Chancellor of Sanjeevani University, he served as Director, Vice
Ayun
Principal,
nga.
Head of Department, and Professor, making significant contributions to academic excellence and institutional development. A
Wala
renowned,
kasi yung...
a renowned researcher, he
Ay, to'y
has
pwede. Kaya nga lang,
published
community-based hospitality business.
extensively
Kaya
in
nga lang, siya
reputed
ay quali.
international journals,
Qualitative yung nakita
guided
ko.
numerous PhD scholars, and led funded research
Siya
projects,
ay
and played a
qualitative.
pivotal role in
Yung
promoting
dalawa, quali
accreditation,
siya.
outcome-based education, research, and innovation.
Nakakaloka kasi sila. Yan, hindi niya alam ang ginagawa
Please mute
niya.
yourself. Someone mic is on. Sorry for interruption. Internationally, Sir has represented Indian higher education as prestigious academic forums and delegations in Australia, Finland, United Kingdom, and Japan, fostering global collaboration and education excellence.
Okay. So first of all, on behalf of the Sanjivani University, it's my privilege to welcome all the dignitaries, those who are participating, and the keynote speakers for the plenary session, as well as the guests
Excuse
for
me, sir.
the.
Probably you are on mute.
So I think that I am unmute. I'm not audible.
No, you are perfectly audible, sir.
Okay, thank you. Because I think that anyhow. So
Yes, sir.
I would like to welcome all the speakers and all the plenary speakers for this particular session. So I will not take much more time. So first of all, just I will give you a brief information about our Sanjivani University. Sanjivani as a group started its education activities in 93 by our founder, chairman, founder president, Honorable Sri Shankarraoji Kolle. This particular university is in the part of Maharashtra. We can call it as the one famous holy place is there, Shirdi, where the many pilgrims across the India and across the globe are also coming. So in that vicinity, we are located. We started this with the vision that how to give the socio-economic reforms to the local people, and that is the reason instead of starting in the city, we started in the very small place. And over the years, we have created our footprint so that across the globe and also in the India, at the various number of companies, our alumni are working at the very high position. Uh, we are having many institutions in the Sanjivani group. We are having Sanjivani Engineering College. We are having Pharmacy College. We are having Science College. And then 2 years back, we started with the Sanjivani University. So the main reason for starting of the Sanjivani University is to leverage the advantage of the university in Indian context of education, so that we can start the courses which are being required by the industry, as well as we can change the curriculum as and when required, and we can create the type of the professionals so that the holistic things can happen. Now we know that what is the need of this particular virtual meet today or summit today, because we know that in the last 10 years the education has changed in multi-direction. So particularly before the COVID, most of the universities across the world are mainly going with the offline education. But now there is no any boundaries, not the bar, because lot of video conferencing and lot of online facilities are available. Now in this, there are number of advantages as well as number of challenges also. Sometimes the students may get distracted in the online, and their we can say focus may change. So in my personal view, there may should be the offline, the blend is the best way. At the same time, as we know that the technology is changing at very faster rate, with the AI into the total industry as well as in the education, as we can see. So a lot of disruptions are happening at a very faster rate. Whatever the technology, sometime even it may not be applicable for not more than 2 years, and sometime even for 1 year. So under this condition, we have to create the professional so that on a larger range, maybe for the many years, how they will be ready. So that is our main challenge of all the academic institution. And under this particular, we thought that why we should not call the leaders across the globe so that we can see their views on how to make ourselves ready, education institute across the globe, to face these challenges. These challenges are not in the India, it is across the globe. We are facing a similar type of challenges. Now with the chat GPT, a lot of things are easy, but at the same time, the creativity of students may getting hampered. So how to go with this thing, how to create the type of ecosystem so that students can get the appropriate skills, competency, and along with that, because now we know that with the age of the mobile and all these things, some distractions are happening. So where is the human touch is required, because that is also one of the bigger challenge, particularly in the country like India we are facing, that students are getting immediately distracted, and also mental health is also one of the challenge. So under this condition, we are very excited to listen from all the leaders across the various country, what way we have to go with this type of the situation, and how we can make the futuristic professional, so that even in the era of the AI, where we also don't know what is going to happen about the different types of jobs, how we can create the, or how we can make the graduates so that they will be suitable for the on the landscape of the industry and other things. So I again welcome all the esteemed guests, all the our partnering universities, particularly Dr. Girish, who has coordinated this thing, and all the participants for this particular virtual summit. I hope that the experience of all these leaders will help us in streamlining our policy for the future education. So thank you for giving me opportunity just to inaugurate this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for truly inspiring and insightful words. Your vision for the future of higher education has set the perfect tone for today's summit, and we are deeply grateful for your guidance and encouragement. We now move into the main academic program of the summit. Each plenary and session speakers are introduced by a student coordinator. I would now like to call upon Mr. Akshay to introduce our first plenary speaker. Akshay, over to you.
Guest, respected faculty and fellow participants, it's now my honor to introduce our first plenary speaker, Dr. Chowdhury C. Ens. Dr. Ens brings over 35 years of professional experience across higher education, industry, public service, and international development, including direct engagement with the United Nations Development Program across 4 continents. The kind of breadth is rare, and it is shown in the way he thinks about institutions and their futures. He currently serves as the head of economics and business administration and the head of postgraduate studies at the University of Technology and Applied Sciences, Shiraz, in the Sultanate of Oman, where he leads initiatives at the intersection of digital education and global academic partnership. A doctor of business administration, Dr. Ains has published more than 40 scholarly works and has delivered over 100 keynotes and training programs across multiple countries. He is also the recipient of several international awards in research and academic leadership. Today, Dr. Ains will walk us through the AID framework, a lens of navigating ethical AI, stewardship, and institutional innovation in higher education. This is the conversation the entire academic world needs to be having, and we are very fortunate to be having it with him. Dr. Ains, the virtual stage is yours.
Or before moving ahead, we just want to introduce, and it's my privilege to introduce our Professor Amol Dakne, Registrar of Sanjeevani University. Professor Dakne, sir, is a dynamic academic administrator and education leader committed to excellence in university governance and student success. As registrar, he has been instrumental in strengthening academic administration, digital transformation, student services, and institutional efficiency. His vision is to build a learner-centric ecosystem supported by world-class infrastructure, technology-enabled classrooms, advanced laboratories, sustainable campus practices, and a safe innovation-driven learning environment. With his unwavering commitment to quality education, academic excellence, and operational efficiency, Professor Darkness continues to play a vital role in advancing Sanjeevani University mission of nurturing globally competent and future-ready graduates. May I now respectfully invite our esteemed registrar, Professor Amol Dakne, sir, to deliver the keynote address and share his valuable insights and words of wisdom with the gathering. Sir, we are very glad to have you with us. So please go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Rashi. This is good morning and welcome all the participants. Greetings from Sanjeevani University. It gives me an immense pleasure and honor to deliver a keynote address of this International Summit 2026, which is jointly organized by Sanjeevani University, Kopergaon and Mabalakat City College, Philippines, and University of Technology and Applied Sciences, Shinan, Oman. Eminent education leaders, faculty members, researchers, and guests from across the world. Welcome to the International Education Leaders Virtual Summit 2026. Today, we gather at a significant moment for higher education where artificial intelligence, future skill development, and digital transformation are reshaping learning and research altogether. We collaboratively and collectively challenge it to create a universities that can innovate, that create an inclusive environment and global connectivity. We must prepare our learners with the competencies needed for having a career opportunity that are yet to emerge and that are challenging for future generations. Definitely, the borderless research collaboration will be an important in addressing a complex and comparatively challenging global problems and advancing knowledge for an humanities coming together with the current scenarios and current technological development. Equally important is ensuring a student's well-being, equality, and meaningful engagement in increasing a digital world and engagement towards a digital learning and specifically in the era of artificial intelligence. This summit can provide and is providing a platform to exchange ideas, shared best practices, and build an long-lasting international partnerships with Sanjivani University, opening our hands and premises for all global partners. Let us embrace this technology with purpose, innovation, and responsibility and collaboration without boundaries. Together, we can redefine the future of higher education for generations and generations to come. I wish all the participants a very high productivity and inspiring summit altogether. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you. Over to you, Rashi, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir, for those valuable and thought-provoking words. Your insight add great depth to our discussions today, and we sincerely appreciate you taking the time to share them with us. Now, I would like to introduce our first plenary speaker, that is Dr. Joe Freeland, CNS. Sir, please, the stage is all yours.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Foremost, I would like to acknowledge the participants from different higher education institutions here in the Philippines or in the Philippines, especially, of course, our partner institutional co-host, the Mabalacat City College, their staff and colleagues in there. I had seen now the Vice President for International Relations, International Affairs, Vice President Jennifer Mercer, also Vice President Glenn Nolasco, and the President of the institution, President Sonny de Guzman. First, I would also acknowledge the speakers, our luminaries in here, Associate Professor Raul David of the Charles Darwin University, Dr. Yosuk Pern of the Multimedia University, I should say, Dr. Franz from the University of Hawaii, and of course, Dr. Navanita Krishnan from Sri Lanka. I had seen also, of course, I would like to acknowledge the Vice Chancellor of Sanjivani University, Dr. Ajay Kumar, Professor Dr. Ajay Kumar Thakur, the Registrar, Dr. Girish Painoli, who had done a lot of things, massive work to make this event instrumental and to be a success. Also, our colleagues at the University of Technology and Applied Sciences in Chinas campus, as well as in Musandam campus and other campuses or branches in the Philippines. And I would like to take this opportunity also for those who had joined us today, coming from different universities, from Malaysia, from Thailand, from the Philippines, Sri Lanka, and South Africa, as mentioned a while ago by our host. Also, we do have the representative from Pampanga State Agricultural University, Cagayan State University. You have also, I would like to acknowledge Professor J. De La Cruz from SPCF in Angeles City, as well as different participants from different HEI. I had seen TIP. Good afternoon again, once again to all of you esteemed colleagues, university leaders, and fellow educators joining us from across the globe. It is an absolute privilege to represent the University of Technology and Applied Sciences here in Sinasuman, alongside our co-hosts at Sanjivani University in Maharashtra, India, and the Mabalacat City College in the city of Mabalacat in the Philippines. In my 3 decades in academia, I have witnessed countless technological disruptions, but artificial intelligence is fundamentally different, and this is not a mere infrastructure upgrade. It is a profound rewriting of how knowledge is created and validated. As a faculty, we are caught between two dangerous extremes. First, the paralysis by fear, where we try to ban the technology, and second, the reckless adoption, where we let algorithm dictate our pedagogy. Today, I challenge you to choose a middle path, a global strategy with a global heart. To navigate, I propose a sharp, actionable blueprint to our classroom. I call this the AID framework. Those who are familiar, especially those who are following me in LinkedIn, I always write an article regarding the AID framework. AID framework, AIDE. AID stands for non-negotiable pillars that every academic in this room can implement tomorrow. A stands for awareness. We cannot grade or manage what we do not understand. Awareness means moving past the fear of the unknown. We must actively demystify generative AI, building baseline digital literacy so that faculty confidently run towards the technology to understand its limits rather than running away from it. I stands for innovation. If AI can pass our exams, the problem is not the AI. The problem is our assessment design. Innovation demands a shift from memory recall grading to evaluating critical thinking and systematic problem solving. We must design human-in-the-loop learning environments where machine processes the data, but the human student synthesizes, critiques, and applies it. Letter D, digital responsibility. Innovation without guardrails is chaos. This is our ethical anchor. We must mentor our students on digital citizenship, data bias, and academic integrity. They must understand that our outsourcing their critical thinking to an algorithm permanently and make sure that they understand what's going on, which compromises their intellectual growth. And E, empowerment. This is the ultimate goal. We do not integrate AI to make our universities tech heavy. We do it to make our people future ready. When routine administrative tasks are streamlined by intelligent systems, faculty are empowered to do what they do best: mentor, inspire, and build character. Colleagues, as we strive for global benchmarks and look towards future skills, we must protect our local heart. Technology is a global phenomenon, but life-changing mentorship is intimated by local understanding what's going on within the context of our respective higher education institution. AI can generate flawless text, but it cannot celebrate a student's breakthrough. It can analyze millions of data points, but it cannot notice when a student is sitting silently. Overwhelmed in the back of a lecture hall, it can give answers, but it can never instill purpose. AI is not a threat to our professions. It is a mirror. It forces us to ask, what is that we do as a human educators? Is that an algorithm? Can never replicate it or cannot be imitated. Let us lean heavily into that answer. Let us use the AID framework or AIDE framework to build universities that are technologically advanced, ethically grounded, and deeply human-centric. Let us ensure that our legacy as educators is defined not by technology we deployed, but by the human potential we unlock. Thank you very much. Namaste, namaskar. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and for your enlightening address. We truly appreciate your valuable insight and the time you spent with us. Now I hand over to Ms. Tisha to introduce the next plenary speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Akshay. It is now an honor to introduce our second plenary speaker, Dr. Jennifer N. Mirza, joining us from the Philippines. Dr. Mirza is the Vice President for External Affairs at Mabalacat City College in Mabalacat City, Pampanga. In that role, she oversees internationalizations, careers and placement services, alumni relations, and external partnerships. Which is to say, she sits at exactly the point where the education meets the real world. Previously, she served as Dean of the Institute of Hospitality and Tourism Management and has built a career around institutional development, global engagement, and graduate employability. She has been instrumental in connecting her institutions with local and international initiatives, that make education more industry relevant. Her topic today is AI for business education leaders. Speaks directly to the challenges every education institution is now facing. How do we use these tools intelligently and what does it mean to lead in that environment? Dr. Mirza, we are very glad to have you with us. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Distinguished organizers, the respected academic leaders, esteemed colleagues, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant day to everyone. So it is a both an honor, a privilege to speak before this distinguished gathering of educators and leaders from around the world. I extend my sincere appreciation to Sanjivani University, the University of Technology and Applied Sciences, Shinas Oman, Dr. Jocelyn Ines, and all our international partners for bringing us together to discuss one of the most transformative developments in higher education, the artificial intelligence. So today I have been asked to share my thoughts on AI for business education leaders. When we hear the term artificial intelligence, many immediately think about technology, automation, algorithms, and machines. However, I believe AI represents something much greater. For business education leaders, AI is not simply about technology, it is about leadership. It challenges us to rethink how we educate, how we innovate, how we prepare future professionals, and most importantly, how we preserve the human values that define education itself. The question before us is no longer whether AI will change the education. It already has. The real question now is how will educational leaders guide this transformation responsibly? We are educating students for careers that are rapidly evolving. According to global workforce trend, many of today's graduates will work in professions that requires continuous collaboration with artificial intelligence. Tasks once considered uniquely human, the data analysis, market forecasting, customer engagement, financial reporting, and strategic planning are now increasingly supported by the AI. Business schools therefore face an important responsibility. We are no longer preparing students simply to compete in the workforce. We are preparing graduates who will lead organizations where humans and AI can work together. That means our curriculum must evolve. Business education should no longer focus solely on theories and management, finance, marketing, entrepreneurship, and operations. It must also develop digital intelligence, ethical reasoning, innovation, adaptability, and lifelong learning. Our graduates must not only know how to use AI, but also when to use it, why to use it, and when human judgment shall prevail. One common misconception about the AI is it will replace the educators. I believe the opposite. AI will never replace great teachers. Instead, it will elevate the role of educators from information providers to mentors, coaches, facilitators, and strategic leaders. Knowledge is now available within seconds via ChatGPT. What students need most today is guidance in interpreting information, evaluating credibility, solving complex problems, and making ethical decisions. Artificial intelligence can generate answers in an instant. Only educators can inspire wisdom. As leaders, our responsibility is not merely to adopt AI. It is to ensure that AI enhances learning rather than replacing authentic learning experiences. Allow me to share the three priorities that every business education leader should consider. First is build AI-ready institutions. Digital transformation begins with institutional leadership. Successful AI adaptation requires more than purchasing software or subscribing to digital platforms. It requires developing institutional readiness. This includes the following: faculty capability development, digital infrastructure, AI literacy, curriculum redesign, innovative policies, and strategic investment. Technology alone does not transform institutions. People do. When educators understand AI, they become confident innovators instead of hesitant users. Professional development should therefore become a continuous institutional priority. Second one is practice ethical AI leadership. Artificial intelligence offers remarkable opportunities. However, it is also raises important ethical questions. Who owns the AI generated content? How do we protect students privacy? How do we maintain academic integrity? How do we prevent algorithmic bias? And how do we ensure fairness in assessment? Educational leaders must establish clear institutional policies governing responsible AI use. Ethics should not slow innovation. Ethics should strengthen innovation. Students should learn that responsible leadership means balancing technological capability and accountability, transparency and integrity. Business education has always emphasized ethical leadership. Third is develop human skills that AI cannot replace. As AI becomes more intelligent, human skills become even more valuable. Employers consistently emphasize competencies such as critical thinking, creativity, emotional intelligence, communication, collaboration, adaptability, leadership, ethical decision making, and cultural intelligence. These are qualities that distinguish exceptional leaders. Business education should therefore cultivate both technological competence and human excellence. The future belongs not to those who know the most of technology. It belongs to those who combine technology with wisdom. The next generation of CEOs, entrepreneurs, managers, and accountant marketers, tourism professionals, educators, and innovators is sitting in your classroom. They will lead organizations powered by AI. But they must also lead with compassion. Technology may analyze data, humans create vision. Technology predicts trends, human builds trust. Technology automates processes, human inspire people. Leadership has always been about people. Artificial intelligence simply changes the tools, it does not changes the purpose. As I conclude, allow me to leave you with one final thought. Artificial intelligence is one of the greatest innovations of our generations. Yet, the greatest innovation in education has never been technology. It was always been the inspired leadership. As educational leaders, we must embrace AI, not with fear, but with responsibility, not with blind enthusiasm, but with thoughtful strategy, not to replace human intelligence, but to amplify it. At Mabalacat City College, we envision the future where AI strengthens education, expands opportunities, promotes ethical leadership, and prepares graduates who are globally competitive, digitally competent, and deeply human. Because in the end, the true measure of innovation is not how intelligent our machines become. It is how much better our learners, our institutions, and our society become because of them. Let us lead with innovation. Let us lead with integrity. Let us lead with humanity. Thank you so much, and I wish everyone a productive and inspiring summit. Mabuhay, and good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mirza, for your enlightening address. We truly appreciate your valuable insights and the time you spent with us. Now, I hand over to Mr. Akshay to introduce the next plenary speaker.
Isha. It's now my privilege to introduce our third and final plenary speaker and someone very close to home for all of us, Dr. R. Priya, our Dean of School of Commerce and Management here at Sanjivani University. Dr. Priya brings over 18 years of experience in higher education and holds PhD in management along with UGC NET qualification. She is currently pursuing postdoctoral fellowship in management from the University of Bridgeport, USA, which says a great deal about her communication to staying at the frontier of the field. Her expertise span human resource management, organizational behavior, leadership, and higher education management. She has published extensively in national and international journals, guided the scholars across MBA, MPhil, and PhD programs, and led multiple funded research projects. What makes her talk particularly meaningful today is its timing. As we discuss AI tools and digital innovation across the summit, Dr. Priya brings us back to the question that matters the most. What about the human beings in the middle of all of these? Her topic, the human side of the digital education, balancing technology, ethics, and well-being, is one all of us faculty, students, and administrator need to hear. Ma'am, with a great respect, we now invite you to address us. Over to you, ma'am.
Thanks, Mr. Akshay. Good morning, respected VC Sir, Registrar Sir of Sanjivani University, distinguished educational leaders, my dear colleagues and participants from around the world. It is a privilege to be part of this prestigious summit and to share my thoughts on topic that it's becoming increasingly important in higher education. Today, the technology transformed the way we teach, learn, assess, and collaborate. AI, LMS, the virtual classrooms, and data analytics have created remarkable opportunities. However, while digital transformation is essential, we must remember one fundamental principles. That is, the education is about people before it is about technology. So the technology should, it's enhance the human learnings, not replace the human relationship. So first, the digital tools improve the accessibility and flexibility, but the students still seek inspirations, mentorship, and empathy from their teachers. For example, in our institutions, we integrate digital learning platforms while ensuring a regular face-to-face mentoring. The career guidelines sessions and students counseling, technology supports learning, but human interactions build confidence and belongingness. Second, AI is now assisting students in writing, research, and problem solving rather than that resisting AI. So the universities should teach students how to use responsible. The previously Jennifer Madam also highlighted that point. This is means it's promoting academic integrity, transparency, ethical decision making, responsible use of AI generated content. So the goal is not to ask whether the student use AI, but whether they use it ethically and critically. That is matter here. Third, the digital education has increased flexibility, but it has also increased challenges such as stress, isolation, and information overloaded. So the institution should create a balanced learning environment by promoting digital wellness, then encouraging collaborative learnings, sometimes providing mental health support, then designing their assessment that reduce the unnecessary pressures. So the student's success should be measured not only by but also by well-being and personal development. Then we can introduce some AI literacy and digital ethics courses across all disciplines. Use learning analytics to identify the students who need academic support at an early stage. Then establish FDP to strengthen the digital pedagogy. Then encourage the project-based and community-encouraged learning to connect digital educations and real-world challenges. So these initiatives prefer that students not only for employment but also for it's for a responsible leadership in a digital society. So the recommendation for the future international higher educations, as a education leaders, we believe we should focus on 5 priorities. First one is keep learners at the center of every digital innovations. Develop ethical AI policies for teaching, research, and assessment. Then invest the continuously in faculty capacity buildings. Then prioritize the students' well-being along the side of academic excellence. Then strengthen the international collaborations to share best practices and create inclusive, globally connected learning ecosystems. So the future of higher education will not be defined by how advanced our technology becomes. it will be defined by how wisely, ethically, and compensatively, we use technology to empower learners. So let us build institutions where innovation is guided by values, where the technology supports humanity. So, and whether every student has the opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive. So, thank you once again for this opportunity. I wish the International Education Leaders Virtual Summit 2026 every success, and I look forward to continued collaboration in shaping the future global higher education. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Priya ma'am, for your enlightening address. We truly appreciate your valuable insight and the time you spent with us. Now I hand over to Mr. Ajay to introduce the next expert speaker. Over to Ajay.
Thank you, Mr. Akshay. We now move into our first full session, and it is my honor to introduce Dr. Francisco Perlas Dumanic, joining us from University of Hawaii, USA. Dr. Dumanic currently serves as the chair of the Language Department and English and TESOL coordinator at University of Hawaii. Before joining University of Hawaii, he taught and researched across the Philippines, Malaysia, and the Middle East, giving him a genuinely international perspective on how language and education intersect. His research covers language and identity of economic migrants, English language teaching and learning across ENL, ESL, and EFL contexts, language planning and policy, and Southeast Asian Englishes. His current work includes family language policy among Filipino in Hawaii and caregiver intersection in adult residential care homes, work that bridges academia and the real lives of communities. His publications have appeared in respected venues, including the Cambridge Language Teaching Journal, Journal of Multilingual and Multicultural Development, and World Englishes. Today, Dr. Dumanic will take us through a critical question: how AI is actually transforming the way universities teach, research, and govern themselves. We are genuinely excited to hear his perspective. Dr. Dumanic, welcome, and the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Professor Chaudhary, for that wonderful introduction. And good morning, everyone. So right now, I'm not in the US. I'm traveling in the Philippines. And very unfortunate, I stuck here in one of the cities in Mindanao. Something happened with my travel today, so I have to please bear with me. So today I'll be speaking with you about, this is very specific. Well, the other speakers were talking about leadership in education and how that AI impacts leadership in education. But I'd like to go through with a very specific on the use of AI, where I'd like to talk about academic writing in the age of AI, advancing ethics, integrity, and transparency. And I think it's very clear with the other speakers that they were talking about the importance of ethics, the importance of integrity, and the importance of transparency, both in leadership and at the same time with our students. So in this presentation, I'd like to go through with a very brief overview about AI and in its relation to academic writing and the ethical use of AI, the different stages of the process writing with AI, and I'll be moving on to the conclusion. So when we talk about artificial intelligence and academic writing, I think we have to go back to the simple definition on what artificial intelligence is all about, where it has the ability of a computer program or a machine to think and learn similar to the way human does naturally and be as cognitive as possible via its artificial neural network, or what we call ANN system, built in the machine. So that's why AI this time is like we are interacting, we're communicating. It's just like we're talking to human beings. And with this, we've seen how AI transform the academic setting, and it also transforms our academic leadership, academic teaching, the pedagogy, and of course, in academic writing. As as chair of the department and as professor of writing, our main concern right now is that how can we train not just the students but also our educators and other leaders on how to properly use AI and maintain that ethical practice, in using AI. So others are scared of it, but like what the other speakers mentioned, that AI is here. It's not that should be feared by everyone, but it is something that everyone should embrace and make use of it. And in academic writing in particular, AI serves as a partner or a collaborator um, to all writers, including our students, and it assists in all steps in the writing process. And it simplifies complex ideas, and it assists in generating useful information. And in writing and in doing research, it helps us in documenting sources. So in general, we could say that AI is useful in generating ideas, drafting, revising, editing, and proofreading. So, however, with these benefits that we get from AI, there are also some concerns or challenges that we're facing. And I think I could relate this one in our university when ChatGPT first came out. Most of the universities in the US were really bothered of it, particularly in our department. I'm in the English department and languages department where we teach more of writing, and our main concern was that what would happen to our writing classes if ChatGPT could generate, writings, and we were scared that our students would be, plagiarizing their works, things like that. At first, that fear was a product of not being fully much aware on what AI is all about. But later, when we're able to know more what AI is all about and what are the benefits that it could bring, then we're able to see the benefits of it. And in fact, at the University of Hawaii, I'm tasked to develop a course which is writing with AI. So which we're experimenting now and eventually be offered very soon as a requirement to our students to take writing with artificial intelligence. So some of the current concerns and challenges that we're facing with AI is that there's a rapid adoption of AI in education where many of our faculty members or our students are not skillful enough on how to use it. And because of that, there's a possibility for them to not using it appropriately, and that would result to plagiarism. And it is important also that everyone should know that AI hallucinates, and because it hallucinates, it generates false information. So if our leaders, if our students, or if our faculty members are not informed and are not aware that AI hallucinates and generate false information, they might be getting incorrect or false information from artificial intelligence. And one of the major concerns of many universities, not just in the US, but I think outside the US as well, would be the lack of clear ethical guidelines and the use of AI, particularly in our area, which is the academic writing. And even our university is still exploring what are those useful guidelines that we could use in academic writing, particularly in our respective classes and at the same time in research. AI leads to potential erosion of critical thinking skills that can impact better writing skills when people are becoming too dependent or over-reliant to AI without knowing exactly what are the appropriate use of AI and the ethical use of AI. They become more dependent to that, and being over-reliant to AI would lead to potential erosion of critical thinking, and that's what everyone's scared, as far as the use of AI is concerned. As a result, the ethical and appropriate use of AI is a huge challenge for educators, for leaders, and students, particularly in academic writing. So the question is this: why ethics really matter? Many are unaware of the ethics of using AI in writing and in the research process. And this is really important because maintaining integrity, trust, credibility, and fairness in academic and research writing is really essential nowadays. And I think you could see when you do some publications of your research in different journals, especially in international journals. So they're very particular now on how you use AI, and you'll be required sometimes to put some attribution towards the end of your writing. And ethics is really essential because it ensures accuracy of your work. It ensures accuracy of the content, accountability, fairness, and avoidance of biases, and it prevents disinformation and at the same time privacy. So with this, it will lead to this question. If ethics really matters, then what about academic integrity? So why academic integrity is also essential? When you say academic integrity, there are four aspects that we have to consider when we talk about academic integrity. First, honesty, originality, correct citation, and at the same time, fairness. And the reason why we need to maintain also this academic integrity is that to avoid misuse of AI. Using AI generated writing or use patching where people would just change the word so it won't be detected as AI generated, or rephrasing using AI to avoid plagiarism detector is classified as cheating. So I think that's one thing that we're going to teach and we're going to inculcate to the minds of our leaders and our educators and our students, that we need to avoid misusing AI. Another concern in writing would be the issue of authorship, where people may rely everything on AI and they produce their writing that's not actually written by themselves, but it's actually generated by AI, and we call it as false authorship. Then another important concern is that the transparency and attribution, and like what I said earlier, that many international journals this time would require authors and writers to be transparent at the use of AI, and at the same time you have to put that attribution towards the end of your article or of your writing, because using AI without citing it and without disclosing the role of AI violates transparency and attribution. And it is important also to inculcate the importance of accountability. That's double checking the sources, because as I mentioned earlier, that AI hallucinates. And so sometimes it gives you like false information or incorrect information. So in order to maintain that integrity, there's a need for us to... I'm sorry. Double check the AI policy in your institution. So verify all sources provided by AI and document the process of writing and keep the drafts and notes to show the original idea. So there are different steps in the writing process that may include pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, and publishing or sharing. I won't go through with this, the details of this because of the limited time, but we can tell our students or our faculty members or in charge and who are doing research and who are also publishing that they could make use of AI as their partner or collaborator in the writing process, starting from the pre-writing stage, moving on to the drafting, revising, editing, publishing, and sharing. So AI is very important, is very important, but at the same time, it has to be, we have to be ethical in using it. And we have to, our main concern here is that we need to avoid plagiarizing, other people's work or generating information from AI and claiming that it is our own work. So we have to maintain originality in our writing. There's a need for us to paraphrase ideas into our own words. So we could make use of AI, but we can just get like some ideas or some information or some critique from AI, but when we do our own writing, we have to write it on our own. So our own voice should be there in our writing. And it is important to cite also information that we took from AI and this proper disclosure of AI, and it is important that our writing should reflect our own work. So when we talk about plagiarism, plagiarism is defined in many different perspectives. But according to Highland, in his latest publication, he said that plagiarism means using words or ideas of another without giving appropriate credit. And sometimes we do that one with AI. If exact words are used, you must always put the words in quotation marks and cite the source. And even if you paraphrase the ideas in your own words, the source must be cited. And it is often considered as an academic crime when you plagiarize other people's work. And according to plagiarism.org, it states that plagiarism is an act of fraud. It involves both stealing someone else's work and lying about it afterwards. Therefore, plagiarism carries penalties, and that one thing that we have to inculcate, not just to our students, but to our researchers and our faculty members as well. And in at the University of College London, they have the list of how we could identify that certain works are being plagiarized. So for example, when someone is submitting someone else's work as their own, it's considered plagiarism. Copying words or ideas from someone else's without giving credit, and failing to put a quotation in quotation marks, and giving incorrect information about the source of a quotation, and changing words but copying the sentence structure of a source without giving credit, and copying so much from source that it comprises the majority of your work, whether you give credit or not. And Turnitin also has that different plagiarism spectrum. Turnitin came up with this terminologies like inadvertent plagiarism, like forgetting to properly cite or quote a source, or their student collusion, working with others on an individual assessment, paraphrase plagiarism, word for word plagiarism, computer code plagiarism. We have self plagiarism, like for example, if we make use of our previous publication into our new writing without citing our previous work, can be considered as self-plagiarism. Source-based plagiarism, mosaic plagiarism, manual text modification, we have data plagiarism, software-based modification, and contract cheating. So it is important and essential for us to inculcate and remind everyone to avoid over-reliance on AI, and it is important for us to draft our own ideas before using AI, and use AI for clarification, verifying information, and avoid copying and pasting any AI-generated information. And in writing, it's important for us to maintain our own voice. So we can start with our own ideas, and we should treat AI as a suggestion and not a final say. And revise our writing with using our own tone, our own word choice, and of course, our own style. And it is important for us also to properly cite AI. And right now, there are like different ways of citing it. MLA, APA, and the other style of referencing, have this, they come up already with this style of referencing using AI. And like what I've said, attribution is also essential. So in summary, I would say that writing is a process. It follows the 5 stages: the pre-writing, drafting, revising, and editing, and final output. And with this writing process, we could make use of AI as our partner or as a collaborator. AI can be used at every stage, but only as a support tool and not a replacement for thinking. And this one has to be highlighted clearly, in every classes that students should be aware. And the ethical use of AI means maintaining your own voice and your critical thinking, not copying AI output directly, and revising and transforming content into your own work, and disclosing AI when it is necessary. And plagiarism is avoided by writing things in your own words and citing sources when it's really needed and using AI as a guide and not as the author. And to avoid over-reliance on AI, always start with your own ideas and use AI selectively and reflect on your own writing. So I would say that strong academic writing requires integrity, transparency, and ownership. And so with that, I would say mahalo and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dimani. If anybody has a question from audience, it is the time.
Hello, sir. So I just have one question that when exactly should university draw the line between using AI as a helpful writing assistant and crossing into the academic dishonesty means? What's the parameter that we can determine that it is the dishonesty and or it is the helpful?
Can you phrase again your question? I didn't really get it right.
When exactly should university draw the line between using AI as a helpful writing assistant and crossing the academic dishonesty?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a very important question. But I would say that in identifying that one, that might vary according to the institution's ethical like AI's guidelines. So but in our university, when, like what I mentioned earlier, when works are generated, from AI, and you claim that it's your own work, then that would be classified as academic dishonesty, because you're, you're taking that information from artificial intelligence and you claim it as your own. So that I think that's one parameter. The other one is that not when you are not citing or we're not putting some attributions on the use of AI while you're writing, and that would still be considered as a form of academic dishonesty. So right now, the focus of the idea of academic dishonesty is more on whether you acknowledge the use of AI, whether you take information from AI, or where you're claiming authorship, where you actually generated information from AI. But like what I've said, that might differ from one institution to the other, and that is why it is essential for us to look at our own policy in institutional policy, because there might be it might vary, from one institution to another institution. And I would just take as an example the University of Hawaii right now. So the University of Hawaii doesn't have yet a very specific guidelines on the use of AI in academic writing. And in fact, in our system, because we have different campuses, we still vary with our requirements. And I think it's a work in progress in many universities, not just in the US, because we're still exploring, and AI is still developing. And I'm definitely sure that there will be more things that would come out later, and that would help enhance our guidelines. And thank you for asking that question. That's really essential, and that's the common questions that are really asked this time. And I think that's the concern of many people right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dimani again, for your enlightening address. We truly appreciate your valuable insights and the time you spent with us.
Ajay, sorry to interrupt. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to put forward a question to Professor. Good afternoon, sir. This is Bharat here.
Hi. Hi, Bharat.
The extension of the question raised by a student only, I just want to put forward. According to you, if you're being asked to frame an criteria for utilization of AI in research field, what might be the criteria you will fix? As you said, there is no specific common policies is being followed globally, and it depends from university to university. As a researcher, so what do you suggest, or what might be your concern if you are being asked to have a framework, or a criteria is being asked you to frame for utilization of AI in the research module? In that concern or in that grounds, what will be your percentage of utilization? How do you like to frame?
Okay, that's a very interesting question about the percentage of utilization, because even my students in academic writing and research, they frequently ask me, how many percent do you think would you consider as a form of plagiarized work? Because they would say we will be using AI, but we're going to we can rephrase it into our own words, and sometimes they would say, would that be considered as a plagiarized work? Because I took the idea from AI, but I transform it into my own words. And they even told me, like what you've said, that once you're going to transform that one into your own words and you put your own style in there, so that becomes yours. So I think in that case, it's a very tough, question to really answer, because that because of the idea that you got the idea from AI and you transform it into your own words. So there is like certain ownership of it, but at the same time you're taking the idea. So my answer to that is, right now, I think if I'm going to give like guidelines to that, the most important thing for you to do is to put an attribution towards the end of your writing. Like for example, you could just say that in writing this research, or in writing this article, I use AI in generating ideas, or in generating information, or in revising, such things. That is to tell the readers that, AI collaborated with you when you're doing it. Because right now, even detecting how many percent that's actually taken from AI is still not really exact. And we had an issue on that in our university, where one student wrote his work, but when we put that one to Turnitin, it turned out that there was 100% AI similarity, but it turned out that the students really wrote it by herself. And so it gives us like, like we're confused on how we're going to identify whether the work is really AI generated or not. So, and that's why I encourage my students this time, or even some of my colleagues or some students that I supervise, that towards the end of your writing, you can just put an attribution. So I think that's one parameter that I could give. Just put an attribution, because sometimes sometimes detectors gives also wrong information. And right now, as a research professor, I also don't rely on detectors, because detectors can't detect accurately. And sometimes it says I'm an editor in a journal as well. And we require this time our contributors to put an attribution, because sometimes we could not rely on AI detectors. And I don't want to police, other people's work. And I just want to trust, everyone to be professional, but putting that attribution would really help a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Dumanik, again. Now, we have a very limited time with us. It is my kind request to all the expert speakers to stick with the assigned time for the smooth conduction of the discussion. Now I hand over to Ms. Disha to introduce the next expert speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Ajay. Dr. Krishna is an international academician and speaker who currently serves as Honorary Director of Reiki Center of Excellence for the Science of Happiness at Datta Megha Institute of Higher Education and Research. In that role, he works at a fascinating intersection, bringing positive psychology and student well-being into the heart of institutional academic life. Prior to this, he served as registrar and professor at the Assam Kaziranga University and ITM Vocational University, leading academic governance, institutional development, and strategic planning. What makes Dr. Krishna's perspective particularly interesting is the path he took to get here. He began his career in financial journalism and investment research, moving into merchant banking, and then spent years in corporate leadership at GE Money Services, rising to senior manager of learning, where he designed and delivered programs in credit risk, fraud analytics, and financial decision making across India and the United States. He has since taught and developed curricula at institutions including NMIMS, Symbiosis, Amity Business School, ICFAI, and Galgotias University, among many others. He holds a PhD in finance at Osmania University and dual master degree in business administration and finance and accounting. He has authored numerous peer-reviewed research papers and contributed over 450 finance and management case studies for executive educations, which is a number that deserves a moment to sit with. He is also a regular voice on television discussion covering business and economic affairs. With over 30 years of experience spanning academia, industry research, and corporate training, Dr. Krishna brings a grounded, practical understanding of what skills actually matters and how institutions need to respond to a world where the jobs of tomorrow haven't been named yet. The session today, Future Skills 2035, Preparing Graduates for the Jobs That Don't Yet Exist, is one that speaks directly to every student and educator in this call. Dr. Krishna, we are delighted to have you with us. The floor is all yours.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, one and all, wherever you are in this part of the world. I am extremely grateful to all the international educators who have given me a chance to speak on this occasion. We all know that the future is not a replay of the past. The future is going to be quite different from what we have seen in the past. If work is enduring, jobs are evolving, and skills determine who thrives and who survives, then as educational institutions, we should also evolve to meet that kind of a requirement. We are all swimming in the same Darwinian ocean, just like the survival of the fittest. Similarly, graduates who can adapt themselves to the changing conditions, they are the ones who will be able to, be a force to reckon with. So rather than asking what kind of student should we develop, we should talk more in terms of what kind of capabilities should educators develop to cultivate those skills. I'm looking much beyond skills because skills are very specific to a job. When jobs itself is evolving, we cannot stay focused on one particular skill set. So we should be looking at capabilities, which are a combination of skills, knowledge, attitudes, and so on and so forth, including tools and techniques, which should be relevant in that context. Now, basically, the universities that are going to flourish in 2035 will not simply redesign their curriculum. I think, we, as educators, we should ask one fundamental question. Are we educating for compliance or are we educating them for complexity? Because there are many institutions across the world which simply put a tick in the box, which comply with the higher educational requirements. That's not the way to go forward. We need to develop students to deal with complexity because we are living in a world of VUCA. So complexity is embedded in that. So are we actually redesigning how learning is designed, developed, delivered, determined, and documented? So I'll walk you through this 5D framework because all of us are familiar with this, the 5D framework, which every outcome-based education looks at. Because typically what we generally do is we design the curriculum, we develop the content, we deliver the learning instructions, we determine advancement, and we document the results. But as regards making our students adaptable to the changing conditions, we need to revisit each of these elements so that our institution stays relevant, current, meaningful, and purposeful. Like say, for example, while designing the curriculum, we need to ask ourselves, are we designing curricula for today's jobs or tomorrow's capabilities? Basically, we need to move from discipline-centric to capability-centric education. Now, why is this required? Because curriculum should focus on learning agility. Unless and until our learning processes are agile, we will not be able to change with the changing times and conditions. Similarly, systems thinking, we need to see the bigger picture. We need to look much beyond our discipline. And the key takeaway in this context is design curricula around enduring human capabilities rather than transient technical skills. Basically, students across the world learn to earn. So that is why institutions also are very narrow in their approach. Instead, we should encourage students to learn in order to serve. And the higher education institutions also should look at the bigger picture, making them relevant to serve. So that should be the crux of designing the curriculum. The second element, developing the content. The fundamental question that we need to ask ourselves is our content future-proof? Because more often than not, universities are developing static knowledge. But if we have to really make the learning more actionable, sustainable, we need to focus on interdisciplinary problems. Students should learn something which solves societal problems or technological problems. Learning should not be for the sake of learning, just like growth is for the sake of growth of a cancerous cell. Learning should serve somebody. Learning should serve the society at large. So when we develop learning around sustainability, entrepreneurship, because the world markets cannot absorb so many job seekers. There is no space for so many job seekers. So what you should be doing, create more job creators. Every institution of higher learning should mint job creators, not job seekers. It is like everybody is consuming media. But rather than consuming media, we should make them learn to create media. Consumption is not a sign of progression. Creation is a sign of progression. So basically, we should create that entrepreneurial mindset where every course that is being learned has got an entrepreneurial dimension to it. And when I say entrepreneurial dimension, it is all about trying to create more than consuming more. So basically, this is made possible by having simulations, gamification, having exposure visits, meeting up with top leaders in different industry and all. So basically the intent is content should revolve as quickly as the world it prepares students for. Basically, where the students are going to work in some real environment, that kind of an ecosystem should be reflected in classroom learning. And content should be should symbolize that one. The third element of this 5D framework is about deliver the learning. How do students learn best in an AI-enabled world? We are living in a world of information. If I tell you something which is already there, I don't find any reason why people should be interested or inclined to learn. It is not about information sharing. I think, as educators, we should come to this realization that we are not there to just disseminate information. We need to look at whatever is the information that is available, reduce that clutter, make this knowledge so very distilled. The exposition should be so lucid that even an average student, even a slow learner should be inclined towards learning. That is why we need to change our learning style according to the needs of the student. I know it is not possible to customize it for every student, but I think broadly we can classify students into some 3 or 4 types: slow learners, moderate learners, advanced learners. And we should learn the art of engaging each one of them when we are deliver this learning. How do we do this? We need to coach, we need to mentor, we need to facilitate, because even the advanced learners require something which is much more challenging for them. So you need to engage them. So when you do that, it will be learning which is based on solving some immediate challenges. So challenge based learning should definitely be part and parcel of our learning style. It should be collaborative. Rather than giving somebody individual assignments, we should make them learn in group, because when they get into the corporate world, they don't do individual roles more often than not. It would always be a team-based role. So making them used to working in teams so that they don't have the choice to have all the members whom they like. That's how when you are assembling teams, definitely they will learn to work in groups, because that's what is very much required in the industry. The fourth element, determine advancement. Unfortunately, most universities, even to this day, rely upon examinations, the semester end examinations, or some continuous evaluation, which is again some kind of a test to determine the advancement. So rather than asking what evidence tells us a student is future ready, is what we should be looking at, rather than simply trying to figure out what did students remember. The examination should not be to test their memory. Examination should be to figure out what kind of evidence can be showcased by a student to know that they are future ready. So how do we go about this? By having some kind of authentic projects, not some dummy projects and all. Focusing their efforts in the direction of challenges faced by the industry, or making them reflect upon the content, trying to make them work in teams, have portfolios where they do a variety of activities, variety of projects, which is an ongoing process, because some students learn by listening, some students learn by watching, some people learn by writing, but everybody learns by doing. So our courses should be delivered in such a way that students more often than not do something and learn. And when we are trying to determine their advancement, we should try to figure out whether it is in line with this particular practice. And lastly, document the results. Instead of only trying to figure out how many people have graduated from the university, graduation is an event, but education is a practice. Because the mind is an endless pursuit. So we should not simply document the completion of a program. We should document the growth. So by asking a very inconvenient question, how do graduates demonstrate capabilities throughout life? So how do we make this possible? By having some micro credentials, some lifelong learning records, some employer validated evidence, some competency transcripts, and some kind of a digital portfolios. So it's not one and done learning that we are trying to encourage. We are asking them to, engage in a variety of activities which are broadly in line with the technological trends, societal trends. Because graduates from our university should learn something which would help the society at large to move to the next level of capability. So finally, I would again quickly draw your attention to the 5D framework. We need to move from designing courses to designing capabilities. We need to move from developing content to developing future readiness. We need to move from delivering lectures to delivering transformative learning. We need to move from determining their grades to determining capability growth. And lastly, we need to move from documenting degrees to documenting lifelong competencies. Because our students, as and when they leave the portals of the university, they are going to serve either the society at large, or they may be serving some industry or service sector. Their contributions will have a significant impact and it will touch many lives. So in this process, we are trying to close the loop because we are not catering to the requirements of the industry by making them skilled in a particular role so that they are, competent at the time of joining some organization. Education is a lifelong learning practice. If we really want our students to transform the society for better, we should not just focus on skills, we should focus on their capabilities. And these capabilities move a long way in making the whole world a better place to live. Thank you one and all for your patient hearing. It had been my pleasure being with you today on this forum. Thank you one and all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dr. Krishna, for the enlightening address. If you have any questions, please, audience, go ahead.
Hello, sir. As you mentioned that learning is about real exposure, not just sharing information, especially when it comes to sustainability. What is one practical way universities can bridge the gap today to help students transition from job seekers to job creators?
Basically, whenever we are teaching any course, we try to figure out whether somebody has learned it or not, somebody has understood the concepts or not. Understanding the concepts is very simple. That's not a big deal. We should always try to make our curriculum more relevant. And once we do that, we should stay focused on applying that knowledge. It is not knowing that matters. It is doing. So how do we reduce this gap? Suppose, like say, for example, if you tell me any discipline, I'll tell you how to make it actionable learning. Tell me any discipline, any course, any program. I'll tell you how to make it actionable.
Let's take an example of an engineering course, any engineering course.
Engineering course. Okay. Why do we learn engineering? Ultimately, it should translate into some product or service. You should be able to engineer a product or service. When you are able to convert an idea into a product or service, that is where you are applying that knowledge, and that is what is technology all about. So rather than simply doing an engineering course, 4-year course, some 100 credits course, whatever, rather than trying to put a tick in the box, if every student is asked to apply their learning and bring out a unique product, I think that will do a world of good for the entire universe, rather than simply trying to figure out how many marks they have got across different subjects like strength of materials, design engineering, structural engineering, all these things, thermal engineering and all that. Knowing is nothing, doing is everything. Can you do something from whatever you have learned? Instead of saying, I am so and so, I am BTech, I am BE, if somebody can say, I can do this, I have more faith in them and their capabilities. So somebody should say, I can do this, and showcase whatever they have done, so that something else, if it has to be required to be done, they will be having a proof of concept to deliver. So what is it that you can do, not what you have learned? I think that's what is the real litmus test of learning.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much,
I hope
Dr.
that answers your
Krishna.
question.
We truly appreciate your
My
valuable
pleasure.
insights and the time you spent with us. Now I hand over to Mr. Ajay to introduce the next expert speaker.
Thank you, Ms. Disha. It is now my honor to introduce Dr. Roll David, joining us from Charles Darwin University, Australia. Dr. David served as the program director of the CDU Pre-Tax Clinic, specializing in auditing, taxation, professional ethics, and community-engaged accounting education. Before entering in academia, he spent more than 20 years in audit and advisory practice across Australia and Southeast Asia, including his senior role in Big Four and mid-tier firms. His experience spans statutory audits, internal audit, compliance, corporate governance, and financial reporting, which gives him a rare ability to move between theory and practice with real credibility. In 2025, he has awarded the title of Fellow Accountant by the Chartered Accountants of Australia and New Zealand, one of the highest recognition in his profession. He also received the Australian Award for University Teaching Citation for outstanding contribution to student learning. Under his leadership, the CDU Free Tax Clinic won the Shaping Australia Award Community Champion 2025 People's Choice Award for its impact on vulnerable communities. Beyond that, Dr. David has laid over $1 million in competitive grants funding and co-authored the National Tax Clinic submission to the Australian Parliamentary Inquiry into Financial Abuse, which was cited 9 times in the final report. Today, he speaks on Research Without Borders, the idea that global innovation and knowledge diplomacy have to work together if universities are to make a real difference. We are very glad to have him. Dr. David, the virtual floor is all yours.
Test mic test. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me loud and clear?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon and good evening to our colleagues joining from India, the Philippines, Oman, USA, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Australia, and beyond. Thank you to Sanjivani University, Mabalacat City College, and the University of Technology and Applied Sciences, SHINAS, for the invitation to contribute to this timely and very important global conversation. So my topic is around research without borders, strengthening global innovation and knowledge diplomacy. Before starting my session, let me see some raising of hands, okay? Some interaction. So I have some few questions, and I would ask all attendees to use the react button, if you know, the heart button down below the Zoom. Click raise hand if your institution has signed MOUs with local institution or local university. Yeah. How about if you have signed MOUs with international institutions? How about international projects or research that your partnership have produced publications and citations? Okay. Now, raise your hand if these publications actually impact a policy or policies or practice. Okay. And finally, how about impact to real community? Have your project or research, making it a public good? Raise your hand. If you raise your hands to all my 4 questions, you're doing a good job. Okay. So my research, my central message is simple. Okay. Research without borders is not about, geography disappearing. It is about trust, ethics, very important, especially nowadays with AI, and public value or public good. Okay. The real impact to the community, crossing geography. I will speak from my experience as an academic here in Australia, as a researcher, and also as a community engaged education at Charles Darwin University, Australia. I would also want to offer a practical framework that education leaders attending our session today can use immediately after the session. So I want to open with a challenge or with a provocation. Based on my experience, 20 years in public practice and academia, based on my observation, I think the easiest thing in international education is to sign a memorandum of understanding. That is easy to sign. The hardest thing is to make it matter. Okay? So a signature, your signature, our signatures can cross borders in seconds. Genuine research partnership takes time. It requires trust. It requires reciprocity. I will talk more about this later. Governance and a commitment to impact that is bigger than any one institution. So today, I will argue that research without borders should not mean borderless extraction. Where knowledge flows from one place to another without mutual benefit. It should mean knowledge diplomacy, a form of collaboration that strengthens relationships while solving common real problems. Why does it matter now? Okay, so that's a huge question. Why does it matter now? Why? Because our biggest challenges do not respect institutional or national boundaries. For example, climate risk, public health, digital transformation, misinformation, financial vulnerability, and ethical governance. These are all cross-border problems. One institution in one country's problem can happen in the other. Okay? The global research system is already more connected. In actual fact, UNESCO reports that the global rate of international scientific collaborations and publications increased from 22% to 24% between 2015 and 2019. And we are still waiting for the current reports. What are the reports from 2020 to 2026? Also, UNESCO Open Science recommendation also give us a helpful principle. Okay, it's already existing. These principles already exist. Okay, scientific knowledge should be made available, reusable, while recognizing that some knowledge must be protected for reasons such as privacy of information, human rights, IP or intellectual property, and also indigenous knowledge or First Nations knowledge, especially in Australia and New Zealand. At the same time, OECD's 2025, the current publication, Science, Technology, and Innovation Outlook, reminds us that cooperation is being reconfigured in what I call a more fragmented geopolitical environment. So the question now for education leaders is no longer whether we collaborate globally. The question now is how we collaborate responsibly. So let me talk about knowledge diplomacy. Okay, so knowledge diplomacy gives us a useful vocabulary. It actually came from this term, knowledge diplomacy, were from Jane Knight. Jane Knight describes it as the role of international higher education, research, and innovation in strengthening relations. Okay, very important. Strengthening relations among countries, and very important, addressing common global challenges. I find three words especially powerful with that definition: collaboration, reciprocity, and mutuality. First is collaboration. Collaboration means we work together, not simply alongside, okay, not simply alongside, but alongside one another as a team. Reciprocity means every partner contributes, every partner benefits. Okay, there's no soft power. I will talk a bit of soft power later. Mutuality, on the other hand, means success is measured not only by institutional advantage, but the value created across the partnership. This is different from internationalization as just a branding. It's different. It also different from soft power. Okay, what is soft power? Soft power means one country, especially for powerful countries, one country projecting influence over another. That is not knowledge diplomacy. Knowledge diplomacy should be two-way, should be ethical, and should be problem-oriented practice with real impact. A borderless research agenda needs to shift our metric of success. We have to change that. Even the ranking of university, it must be updated. Okay, I'll tell you more about that, the ranking. Okay, while I respect, okay, I respect publications, I value grant. Okay, publication and grant matters, citation matters, but they are not enough. The deeper value of cross-border research is that it strengthens knowledge, capability, and trust at the same time. Let's talk about knowledge. Knowledge is the evidence we produce. That is the citation, that's publication, that is knowledge. Capability is the learning and confidence we build in our students, in our early career academics or early career researchers, in our communities and partner institutions. Now, here comes the most important component: trust. What is trust? Trust is the relational and ethical infrastructure that allows research to influence policy, to influence practice, and to provide real world impact to our community. That is real impact. So the question leaders should ask now is not only how many international partners do we have? No, I think it's what public value did our partnership make possible? That's the real question. So for me, I would like to share my bridge framework based on my practice. Okay, here is the framework I would like to offer educational leaders attending our session today. I call it bridge, BRIDGE. B for begin with shared problems, not only for institutional marketing, not only for lip service. Okay, we have to begin with shared problems. R for build reciprocity. Reciprocity into the research agenda, including authorship, data access, mutual benefits. Okay, there should be reciprocity. There couldn't be one country only taking advantage of the majority. Okay, so there should be mutual benefits, mutual authorship, data access. I for making capability building inclusive. Okay, you have to make your capability building more inclusive, not exclusive, not extractive, especially for students, early career researchers, and communities. Kudos to, when I saw the timetable yesterday, kudos to you, Sanjivani University. Why? Because you have a column there for student contribution to this session. So that's one important factor. Okay, so well done. And then D for agree on data and ethic stewardship as early as possible. Agree on data and ethics stewardship early, not in the middle, not after, because if not, it would cause chaos, including what can be open and what must be protected. Okay? And then G for governance. create governance for trust. This is very important, especially for our leaders. Okay, create governance for trust, not just a ceremonial steering committee. And finally, E, design evidence. Evidence to impact pathways from the start. That this could include, policy briefs, impact on policy briefs, impact on community resources, impact on your curriculum from one country to the another, professional standards, impact on professional guidance, okay, and public engagement. So those BRIDGE, B for begin with shared problems, R for reciprocity, I for inclusive, D for data and ethics stewardships, G for governance, okay, and finally E for evidence to impact pathways. I call that bridge framework that you can apply when you somehow after this session realize maybe there's a local context problem here in India that is applicable to other countries, and maybe we can collaborate and create a sustainable project, okay, that would create real world impact. Now, I would want to share my own personal experience, okay? Let me ground this in one area of my work. At Charles Darwin University, CDU Australia, I lead the CDU Free Tax Clinic. On the surface, this is a local Australian program, where we involve students. Students work under supervision of registered tax agents and real professionals. We support people who may be experiencing financial vulnerability, tax, they feel tax stress, small businesses challenges, or limited access to professional advice. We provide free tax services to those vulnerable individuals and communities. We actually travel to regional, remote, to very remote communities with our students to serve our First Nations and Indigenous people. But the research and innovations questions, with that local context, what we are solving is not local. Why? The research and innovation questions are global. For example, how do universities build trust with communities? Another one, how do we design work-integrated learning that is authentic and ethical with safeguards? Also, how do professional disciplines contribute to public good, to real communities? This is knowledge diplomacy at a human scale. We do not start by exporting a model. We start by listening to our local context, generating evidence, and then sharing insights that one institutions can adapt respectfully. Another one are my publications. My research in auditing also shows why context matters. Let's talk about context now. Okay, so in my accounting and auditing research, we often operate, especially for accounting practice, our public practice operate with international standards, isn't it? So that creates a shared professional language, a global standards, but it does not remove judgment. Okay, auditors, accountants make materiality judgments within local institutional, local regulatory, organizational, and cultural settings. So what I'm trying to tell you is that cross-border research help us see what is shared globally, internationally, and what is context specific. The goal here is not to say one context is superior over the other. No, the goal here is to learn how global standards are interpreted in practice and to use that insight to improve education, to improve professional training, to improve our students' work readiness and policy. Okay? So for me, this is another form of knowledge diplomacy. Partners learning from context rather than erasing it. Now, this is very important. Another one that I would want to talk with you guys is AI. We've talked about AI from our first speaker, second speaker, also in research. Okay, AI, you can't erase AI. It's part of, it's part of what we do in all facets of life. But we can regulate it. Okay, AI is now part of the borderless research conversation. It can, AI can translate, AI can summarize, it can code, it can model, it can detect patterns, and connect dispersed theme. It is powerful, yeah? But AI does not replace trust. It can also produce bias, concentrate advantage among powerful or well-resourced institutions or countries. And it can also create new risks around privacy, intellectual property, and also some risk on research integrity. So leaders now need, based on my opinion, leaders now need three safeguards. First, human accountability. We cannot outsource judgment to tools, to robots. We are accountable. We human beings are accountable to whatever outputs we have. Like imagine you are being under litigation. You can't say to the court, hey, Your Honor, I shouldn't be here because I'm not at fault. Okay, you have to ask my AI. Okay, you can't do that. Okay, during court litigation. Okay, we human beings are accountable for whatever output, not AI. Second, equitable access. A global AI research or the research agenda must include language diversity and infrastructure gaps, and it must be negotiated, and there should be an open dialogue and discussed beforehand before you start the project. And then finally, third, it must be open and secure protocols. So the principle is open as possible, protected as necessary. So AI should make research more inclusive, not more extractive or exclusive. Okay? So for education leaders, our challenge now, the practical challenge now, is to move from MOUs to movement. Here are 5 actions I would like to share. First, choose one problem. Choose one problem that genuinely crosses borders. Second, design reciprocal governance. Okay, you design reciprocal governance before you start the project. That means decision rights. Talk about workload. Talk about authorship. Who will be the first author, second author, third author, etc. And then talk about data ownership and discuss this as early as possible. Third, make students and early career academics, early career researchers, visible contributors, like what Sanjivani University is doing now at this session. Make our students contributors, okay? Not just observers. Fourth, define what knowledge can be open. Define what must be protected and what belongs to partner communities. And then finally, fifth, this is very important, translate results, your impact to your curriculum, your impact to policy, and your impact to community benefit. Why? Sustainability and funding comes when when government can see your real world impact to the community as a public good. In my experience, partnerships do not usually fail because of distance. They fail because trust, expectations, and benefits were left implicit and not discussed earlier. Okay? So now my challenge is intentional. Okay? Before I will end my session. My challenge is intentional and very simple. Within 90 days, within how many months? Yeah, 3 months. Within 3 months or within now 90 days, every institution represented here could launch one small but serious borderless research pilot. One problem, one partner, one community, one protocol, one proof of value. When I say proof of value, real world impact. One problem anchored in a shared challenge. Okay? 2 or 3 countries. One partner, selected from complementary and trust rather than prestige alone. One community, involve early as a source of knowledge. Okay, involve your community as a source of knowledge and as a beneficiary. One protocol, very important, your safeguards. One protocol covering what? Covering ethics, covering data, covering authorship, AI, and communication. And finally, one proof of value, such as your impact on policy, teaching resource, prototype, or public-facing output. The idea is not to start with a large, perfect structure. There's no perfect structure when it comes to international collaboration. For me, you can start small enough to begin, but design it seriously enough to matter. Okay, so put those bridge framework before you start your research project. Okay, so let me close my session with this. For me, research without borders is not measured by how far knowledge travels, but by whom it serves and what trust it builds. What I mean with that is that in a world of shared problems and shifting geopolitics, higher education can do more than collaborate. It can become a trusted architecture for global innovation and knowledge diplomacy that creates not just publication and citations, but real world impact. Okay, so thank you very much. I guess that's all from me. I hope you have enjoyed and learned something from my session. And please keep in touch. Email me. My email address is raul.david, raul.david @cdu.edu.au. If you have a local context research project that you think it will be a very good example of global collaboration, email me and then we can discuss. So thank you very much. And yes, hopefully we can collaborate with more research and borderless research project. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Dr. Raul David.
Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, good afternoon, Dr. Raul. We are very impressive session in which you asked that we have all international MOUs, sir, and all of them are actively working.
Well done.
And presently we are going on with the course that is called COIL, Collaboration of International Learning with the Northwestern University, Philippines, in which the course is running business analytics.
Yeah.
So we hope in future we will have an MOU with your university also and
with
have
Australia,
an active
yeah. Yeah.
So now we say not active MOU, we'll say momentive MOU.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your wonderful session.
No worries. My heart's grateful to hear that. That's good. Well done.
It was a great session, Professor. Really, it was very interesting. The points, whatever you put forward and the process you have supporting to the societal level, like on the taxation part, it was really amazing where we are ready to implement. And the collaborative research part, which you have highlighted a lot, was amazing. So, which I just want to put forward, Girish sir have rightly coined, soon we'll have an MOU and further, it should not be a paperwork. As you rightly said, plenty of MOUs in the most of the institutions, we'll just show it as a paper module. The next level transformation doesn't take part. But I hope our MOU, which we are going to have, for sure will have a positive vibe and we have to convert into the next phase. As an academician, we have to make our people, our students to move on further. It was really amazing. The speech was so good.
Thank
I hope
you.
our
Thank
students and all the participants might also enjoy it on your things. What do you have put
Thank
forward?
you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
For information, all our MOUs are active.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you once again, sir. Now I hand over to Ms. Disha to introduce our next expert speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Ajay. For our final session of the day, sorry for the interruption. For our final session of the day, it is my great honor to introduce Dr. Yusuf Fern, joining us from Multimedia University, Melaka, Malaysia. Dr. Yu is Director of the Center of Excellence for Business Innovation and Communication at the Faculty of Business, Multimedia University. She has 25 years of teaching experience, beginning her career as a lecturer and building a specialization in marketing at both bachelor's and master's degree levels. She actively supervises students across BBA, MBA, MPhil, and PhD programs. So she has been involved in student development at every stage. Her research record is remarkable. 83 journal articles in international referred journals, 53 internationally referred conference papers, and 5 books chapters, including the recently edited e-book Issues in Contemporary Business. She has secured 23 research grants as principal researcher and project member, including 2 international grants, and has received numerous awards throughout her academic career. Her talk today brings our summit to a fitting close. After all the discussion of AI, frameworks, and institutional strategy, Dr. Yu turns the lens on the student, the future of student experience, how well being, inclusion, and digital transformation all need to be considered together if we actually want education to work. Dr. Yu, it is a true privilege to have you with us. Please go ahead.
Hi, a very good afternoon to everyone. Thank you so much to Disha for the humble introduction about myself. So first of all, it is a truly honor, all right, for me to be with you today. First of all, thanks to the organizers for this opportunity to share my thoughts on a topic that is shaping the future of higher education with the topic on the future of students' experience. All right, focusing on 3 pillars, which is well-being, inclusion, and digital transformation. So perhaps I would like to encourage all the participants at this platform to treat this as a two-way communication. Feel free to ask questions at the end of my sharing. All right. So before that, let me begin with a few simple questions. All right. Will make a university truly outstanding 10 years from now? What do you think? If you think that 10 years from now, university will be a great place where we can produce graduates with great capability, ability, and with strong EQ and IQ, please give me a thumbs up. Press on the icon and give me a thumbs up. If you think that 10 years from now, university, in order to be outstanding, is where we can produce great graduates. My next question, will it be world ranking or state-of-art facilities or artificial intelligence? For us to create students' experience, do you think world ranking is one of them, state-of-art facilities is one of them, or artificial intelligence? Do you think that these 3 will create students' experience? All right, thanks for the, wow, okay, very interactive. All right, so for me, I always feel that students may forget the individual lectures that lecture them 9 hours a week or 4 hours tutorial a week, or the assignment that we actually assign to them. For example, for me, I'm teaching strategic marketing. I'm also teaching brand management. So in my class, normally for brand management, my assignment for the students is you need to go to the mall. You need to go to the shopping mall. You have to choose one hypermarket, all right, and do a case study in that supermarket. But they will need to choose one particular brand. For example, if for this week, my tutorial is for them to do a case study on a product in the category of rice production. So they have to choose a brand and they have to do an interview with the current consumer, all right, or current customer, or with the potential customer, and come back to the classroom and they have to present and come up with the strategies on how to promote this product. Right? So do you think that students will remember these assignments and the lecturers? Or they will remember the university that have given them everything? I believe that in this platform, we have a lot of students, right? Am I right? We have a lot of students at this platform. So what do you think? Do you think that in future, when you step out from your university, you remember the lecturer, Simon, or the university? I said university means that the university make you feel at home with their state-of-art facility. So, and when we look about students' experience, did they feel supported when they are joining the program in the university? In a university, we have various programs, and in each faculty, we will offer diverse, program that can increase the knowledge and the skill. For me, I'm coming from the Faculty of Business. So we have 12 different programs. So with these 12 different programs from digital business, marketing, human resource, banking and finance, and international business, all right, how do this program actually give the supporting in terms of the three pillars where I mentioned just now, the well-being, all right, the inclusion and the digital transformation, how this program can actually contribute to the success of our graduates when they step out of the university? Did they feel confident leaving the university? This is where in my university, we offer iCadet and eCadet, which I'm going to share with all of you later on. What is iCadet and eCadet? And with these two programs, we actually can build the confidence of our future graduates, fill them with all the different skills. So I will share with you later on. So I always believe that these questions will define the universities that succeed in the years ahead. So why do you think that students' experience matters? I believe that every university will have the same thought. Students' experience matters to all of us. In my university, we achieve 99.5% employability rate each year. We send our students for internship. I believe some other universities do so. So the internship, some program will be 3 months, some will be 6 months. And students' experience matters because all of us know that higher education is changing rapidly, especially with the advancement of technology. And students are more diverse than ever before. And technology is evolving at unprecedented pace, and employers increasingly value adaptability. Employers nowadays are looking forward to employ graduates that not only have the piece of degree certificate or a master's certificate or a PhD certificate. What they want is a graduate who can adapt to the working environment. The fast pace in the working environment is changing now. The creativity, the collaboration, and the lifelong learning. I believe that all the professors at this platform, even though upon graduating with a PhD degree, we still continue learning. Like previous professors mentioned about research, even though we publish a lot, we win a lot of award, but we still learn from our peers. We still learn from other colleagues from different angle of research knowledge, right? Today's students, of course, they will expect more than just a qualification because they know that everyone, the moment you step out of the university, you will get a degree certificate. So what they are looking forward is the experience. They will expect university to help them to grow academically, to grow personally, socially, and as well as professionally. That is why students' experience has become a strategic priority rather than simply a student affairs responsibility. Right? So for me, the future of students' experience can be summarized in one simple vision, which I always look upon this particular vision. Every student should be able to learn. They must have a space to learn. But at the same time, as a student, you must have a positive attitude towards learning. Second, belong, the sense of belonging. All right. And third is thrive. So learn, belong, and thrive. So every student should be able to have these three with them. All right. And I believe that the future students' experience is built on three interconnected pillars. All right. They're all interconnected. There's no standalone. The well-being inclusion, and digital transformation, these three components have to be interconnected. We cannot leave out inclusion, just focus on well-being and digital transformation. Or we are just focusing on digital transformation and we ignore well-being and inclusion. No, these three must be interconnected pillars. All right, and these three pillars should never be viewed in isolation. All right, so for example, if we invest in digital transformation, but we neglect inclusion, we actually risk widening the gap between students. All right, but if let's say we look at another angle, if we focus on inclusion but overlook on well-being, students may still struggle to reach their full potential because every student have different level of learning. All right, or I would say that they are progressing in their learning will not be the same. All right, because we have to remember students coming from diverse background, okay, and different region. And if let's say we prioritize well-being without embracing innovation, we may fail to meet the expectation of the new generation of learners. That's the reason why I mentioned that these three, well-being, inclusion, and digital transformation, they are all interconnected pillars. And the real opportunity lies in bringing these three pillars together. When we do that, we create a future-ready university where every student has the opportunity to learn, belong, and thrive. So after today, remember these three keywords: learn, belong, and thrive. Let me focus on our first pillar, which is well-being. We often about this term, well-being. All right, many people immediately think of counseling services. When we talk about well-being, students' well-being, you think about we need to have a counseling unit. Am I right? Okay, we think of counseling unit. While counseling is essential, well-being is much broader than that. Students need support not only in terms of emotion, but they need support academically, financially, and professionally. Now, when I talk about academic well-being, means that can I cope with my study? Very often that students have this problem, they cannot cope. They will tell you that in one semester, I'm taking 7 subjects or 7 modules. I cannot cope with all the 7 modules. So as a university or as an institution, how can we provide this academic well-being to our students? Are we going to redesign our program structure in such a way that we do not cram 6 to 7 subjects in one semester? All right, let me give you one example. In my university, we have this BYOC, build your own coursework. All right, it means you can build your own course. You can choose. For example, I'm from Faculty of Business, and most of my modules are business related. But now I would like to take 1 or 2 modules from the Faculty of IT. Can or cannot? Yes, you can, because we call it this build your own course. So we allow students from Faculty of Business to take 2 IT modules from the Faculty of IT. So most of the students will choose AI, or some of them will choose basic coding. So we allow that so that they are not so tense with only the modules that they are majoring. For example, if they're majoring in banking and finance, they are only looking at numbers. So we allow them to do that, BYOC. All right. Number 2, we talk about well-being is emotional well-being. I believe that not only students, even as a lecturers, right? I'm sure professors will agree with me. As a lecturers, we also need this emotional well-being support. Right? Do we support our students well enough? What kind of support do our students need in terms of emotion? Now, financial well-being. Can the student afford to pay the fees? If they are not able to pay the fees, do our institution have a unit or a division that can support or supply financial support? So, take for example, in my university, we have MMU Foundation. So in this MMU Foundation, we depends on public sponsorship, public donation, and using this fund, we support students who are underprivileged by paying for their fees. All right. We also give scholarships to MBA students based on our alumni's result. All right. It's a full scholarship. So this financial well-being can be of help to our student. So these are some of the well-being support, only about counseling. All right. And also another part of it is we call it career well-being. Will my education prepare me for meaningful employment? Student will ask this question. So that is why in my university, we introduced I-Cadet and E-Cadet. I-Cadet is industry cadet. E-Cadet is entrepreneur cadet. Industrial cadet is whereby we bring in the industry to do their sharing session, all right, to conduct interview with our students. All right, and E-Cadet is entrepreneurship cadet. So under this category, we encourage students to take up projects, all right, spin off, and so on, so that we want to build them to be future entrepreneurs. All right, so these are some of the initiative done by my university. I believe some other universities are doing the same as well, but perhaps they call it a different name for their program. All right, so you imagine if, let's say, a student who is academically capable but is overwhelmed by financial pressure or anxiety. All right, so if without any support, of course, this student might struggle despite having a potential to move further in his or her education and further on to the career level. So university therefore need to create an ecosystem that supports students holistically through mentoring. So we mentor our students into different innovation competition. We also mentor our students and as well as staff, all right, for conferences. Even our undergraduate students, they are actually doing research. All right, but of course, their research work will be simple research framework. So with that, we encourage them to submit their paper for conferences. So we start them at the level of undergraduate. We expose them to research. All right, and also, of course, peer support, career guidance. All these are very important components that we want to make sure that our students will have good experience when they leave the university. And another one is leadership opportunities. I believe that in all universities, we have clubs and societies. Expose our students to clubs and societies because through these clubs and societies, they can build their confidence and also they can learn to lead their societies. Right. So when students feel supported, they become more engaged. All right, the engagement is very important. Staff-student engagement is very important because when students are engaged with you, means that they trust you. They trust that you are their mentor. All right, their future depends on you. That means all of us here, we are mentoring our next generation. All right, we want to build their confidence level and we want to see that our students will be successful one day in the community. All right, as an educator, it's always a joy and proud moment to see that our students are doing well out there as a CEO, managing director of an organization, all right, or a well-known researcher, or even your student can be a top 2% scientist as well. Okay, so let me move on to the pillar 2, which is inclusion. Now, when we talk about inclusion, today's classroom includes students from different culture, languages, socio-economic backgrounds, abilities, and life experiences. Remember, inclusion is not about treating everyone exactly the same. When we talk about inclusion and exclusion, right? So when we talk about inclusion, doesn't mean that we treat everyone exactly the same. It is actually about ensuring every learner has an equal opportunities to succeed. All right, but it depends on the individual character. All right, we cannot treat that everyone will be running at the same pace. All right, even though we have a student of 40 in the class, some might be a fast learner, some might be a slower learner. All right, but we cannot exclude those who are a slow learner. They have their own ability, they have their own capability, and they also have their, own knowledge in different angle. So we need to treat all of them, equally. Right? Because all of them are our students, all of them are our future graduates, or I would say that future leaders. So one important concept is look at universal design for learning. Instead of designing education for an average student, why not we design learning experience that can accommodate different learning preferences from the very beginning on this. Just a lot of professors talk about AI. All right, the speakers talk about AI. Of course, AI or artificial intelligence can also promote inclusion. All right, they have their real-time translation. They have the caption, speech to text, adaptive learning, and personalized feedback can remove barriers for many learners. Take one example. Instead of us as a lecturer relying on 2 hours lecture or 1 hour's tutorial, all right, we can actually provide lecture slides in advance to the students. We can record the session. All right, we can add captions to our video, the recorded video, and upload these materials to our learning platform. All right, so every university, definitely they have one learning platform where students can download notes, tutorial questions. So upload all these recorded video onto the platform. No doubt you have conducted the class physically, but you still can do a recording for that class. Reason being very simple. If let's say in my class, I have a student who is hearing impaired, they can benefit from the captions that you have recorded. You have uploaded the video with the caption. All right. If let's say I have international students who have the barrier in terms of language, all right, difficult in coping with what we lecture in the class, so they can replay it and translate it into their language. All right, and also look at students. If let's say they are absent due to illness, they still can catch up with the lesson. So if we look at this angle, include the AI into this inclusion pillars, number 2, everyone or every student will benefits. All right. So our purpose as an educator is we want to make sure that everyone benefits, not just students with specific needs. So with one lecture or with one tutorial, students with different background will be able to benefit from my class. Right? Even though if let's say I design an assignment, I have to make sure that this assignment is doable for everyone in my class. Let's say I have 80 in my class, all 80 will benefit it. That is the purpose or a vision of a lecturer or an academician. So the objective is very simple. What we want to do is every student should feel that they belong to your class, that they belong to this university. No one is left out. Okay? Now, pillar 3, digital transformation. Okay, we know that digital transformation is often misunderstood as simply introducing more technology. We always think that digital transformation means that company is trying to come up with new technology, new apps, and so on. Correct? But in reality, it is about redesigning the student journey. If we use AI or if we use technology in the right manner, students' journey will become more meaningful. All right. Of course, all these, like we talk about ChatGPT, all these AI tools, it helps us if we use it in the right manner. All right. Just now, we also listened to about publication in an ethical way. All right. So use it in the right way. No one says that you are not allowed to use all these tools, but use it in the ethical way. All right. So with this digital transformation, when you apply it correctly, when you purchase the right tools for the university, it will help you in terms of a smooth registration for your student. All right. Even the students are back in their home country, all right, they're still able to do the registration, or they're still able to follow your lesson through the online platform. So learning becomes more personalized as well. For example, if let's say during COVID, back to COVID time, without COVID, I think most of us are still using the traditional way of lecturing, which is face-to-face. But sometimes we have to thank to this pandemic that we actually have the opportunity to conduct classes via the online platform, where we are able to capture most students from different parts of the world, especially when we are conducting our postgraduate program. So students from different countries, they will enroll to our PhD program, our MPhil program, because they can attend our research methodology class, all right, research methodology class from their home country. So make life much easier for our community, all right? So when we talk about artificial intelligence should not replace educators. Remember this, all right? We still need educators that meet the students every day, mentor the students, all right? Listen to their problems and do some coaching with the students. Always remember, mentoring and coaching are two different terminologies, right? We still need educators to be involved in this mentoring and coaching. Now, instead, it should automate routine tasks so that educators have more time to mentor, inspire, and build meaningful relationship with students. When we talk about, I believe that all educators, when you're involved in this academic line, it's because you have the passion to educate the next generation. You never feel tired in meeting your students. Even though you have classes from 9 to 5 in between, you will still meet your student because you want the best for your student. So technology should make education more human, not less human. All right. So as we look towards the future, we should remember that the greatest strength of a university is not the technology that we invest, but it's the people in your organization. The people in your organization is the asset of the whole institution. All right. So the university that will thrive are those that invest in student well-being, embrace inclusion, and use digital transformation to enhance, not to replace the human's experience. Right? Don't use technology to involve in student activity. Student activity need to be physical. Let them have the experience. See how difficult or how challenging is it to be part of the activities. So before I conclude, I would like to leave this thought with all of you. Perhaps you can bring this back with you and try to remember this. Technology may shape the future of education, but humanity will always shape the future of our students. Let us build university where innovation serves people, inclusion creates belonging, and every student has the opportunity not only to succeed, but to thrive. So if you remember just now when I started, I mentioned what? Learn, belong, and thrive. Right. So thank you once again for your attention. I wish everyone a meaningful and inspiring conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yusuf, for your enlightening address. We truly appreciate your valuable insights and the time you spent with us. Now, I request Dr. Rashid Dubey to take the stage and bring the summit to a close.
As we come to the close of this enriching summit, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all our plenary speakers, distinguished experts, and esteemed panelists for sharing their invaluable insights, knowledge, and experiences. We now move to the concluding part of today's session, the vote of thanks to be delivered by Dr. K. Bharat, Sir, Head of the Department of MBA, Sanjeevani University. Dr. K. Bharat Sir is an accomplished academician, researcher, and management educator with over 16 years of experience in teaching, research, and academic leadership. As head of the MBA department, he has been instrumental in promoting academic excellence, research, industry collaboration, innovation, international partnerships, while nurturing future ready management professionals. This International Educational Leaders Virtual Summit 2026 stands as a true testament to his visionary leadership, constant encouragement, and unwavering support. Without his guidance, motivation, and meticulous planning and organizing, this prestigious global event would not have been possible. His commitment to creating international exposure and meaningful learning opportunities for students and faculty continues to elevate the Department of MBA to a new heights. May I now invite Dr. K. Bharat Sir, Head of the Department of MBA, Sanjeevani University, to deliver the vote of thanks for today's session. Sir, the virtual platform is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashi ma'am. Thanks a lot. You have said plenty, but the contribution level, what we do now is entirely different. Where in front of the forum of the people who have discussed over here, we have to travel a long way to accomplish the task what they have given. Like each and every one of our guests have given, just they have took five elements and they have coined in a different phase where they started making us to think a lot, in which jointly we have to work a lot and contribute a lot to not only to the society, in the students' well-being also, we have to travel in a different thought process. Thank you, Rashi ma'am. It gives me an immense pleasure to be the part of this International Educational Leadership Forum. First, I take a privilege formally to thank all the participants, keynote persons, and also I like to thank our management, our President Amit sir, a person who used to travel plenty of time to different sort of universities all around the globe, and he used to suggest us, try to do something new, try to implement certain things new, which has been which are the key elements which are he founded in different places. He want to implement over here as a rural based institution, Sanjeevani Group. We emphasize those sort of ideologies we used to implement, and even the failure module he encourages to implement those things, because the outcome should be a proper module. Proper module in the sense the welfare of the students. So on this occasion, I thank our President Amit sir. Next, our visionary leader, our Vice Chancellor A.G. Thakur sir, and 30 plus years of experience in engineering, and as a leadership position, he have traveled around 1.5 decades as a director, and different roles he are there. So now he is in the VZ, and he have supported us in plenty of opportunities. He have given plenty of opportunities and given plenty of supports and thought process in implementation of certain things also over here. And recently, sir have went to Japan, and he came and he was used to say, Arey, you have to be very keen on your time. Time management over there is the biggest benchmarking where we are lacking, we have to implement. So in that line, hopefully we have started everything as specified time. We was closely with all time, we try to manage with all the time sequence, but some here and there we have missed out. But this 3 years, what it has been spent over here, really it was an eye-opening of plenty of our academicians and the students who are participating over here. And in this occasion, I take greater pleasure to thank our Vice Chancellor, sir. Next, I like to take a privilege to thank our Register Amul Dakne, sir, a dynamic person who always support us. And whenever we put forward certain new sort of ideologies, he encourages and he asks us to implement at the earliest, because he used to say always the first come, first serve module. So if you have an ideology, you have to implement. That is the thing which now also today the speakers were keep on pointing out. Few speakers were very keenly pointing out, like always trigger your idea, trigger your point, whatever we use, it should be implemented at the earliest. So that helps you to improve your modules. In that line, a person aligned with that thought process who have given his keynote address over here. So on this occasion, I take a privilege to thank Dr. Amul Dakne sir, our registrar. Next, I like to thank the eminent Jeffrey sir, who's another dynamic person who have supported us. With Girish sir, he have given his thought process of this event, who have made this even more successful because of the combined effort of our Girish sir. Thanks a lot, Professor. Next, I like to take a privilege to thank Jennifer from Philippines. Ma'am have also given a great thought process on the business leadership related, business educational leadership related on AI module. So her thought process also was an amazing, there are plenty of key elements we have to take away from her module. And next, I like to thank our Dean for a valuable support, who have spoke about the digital education on balancing of technology and ethical well-being in the human resources area, where I should thank her in this occasion. Now I'll jump on to the major panel people who have contributed a lot and who have given plenty of thought process. Really, generally, at the beginning itself, our VC have very keenly pointed out the technological upgradation is unavoidable, and the change who accepts the environmental change will survive in the market. The same as it's been put forward by all the speakers, specifically when we say that Francis, when he have said about the research related modules, like the collaborative research or the research on AI impacts, and how the institutions have to take it as a wise module, and how we have to define certain aspects towards the research on the implementation AI, and the power of AI nowadays on the academical related modules and the research module. He have very keenly pointed out those things, where it gives another thought process where on implementation certain policy modules which we have to take further. Because generally after this discussion, I mean the keynote address, it started for me to trigger in which like we have to create a framework on AI on the submission related modules also, which we are following are in university. It should be in a policy document which we have to make, so that will give a greater thought process in the area of research also. That governing of AI related modules and policies related modules is one of the most important thing which I take as a key element from his address. Next, I take another great eminent who have come from Sri Lanka, Navneetha Krishnan, sir, Professor sir. Generally, we used to speak as an general speaker. We used to put forward that the future skills you have to enhance in this area, and you have to improve on AI related skills. But he have coined those things. But how far you have to implement and how far you have to learn, and the value addition towards that modules are how we have to enhance ourselves and equip ourselves. Yeah, very perfectly. He have coined a special thanks to user. Actually, I had few questions, but I don't want to drag off the timing, so I'll drop a mail to you regarding the things what you have present. So those questions I'll be dropping out. And thanks a lot for being here, sir. Next, I take another eminent person who have said about the collaborative research and collaborative modules towards new innovative guidelines and new innovative things which we have to implement. Has been said by Professor David. Sir, really your speech was very good, sir. Like we started have multi. I mean, and MO under. I mean, we have to sign an MOU with your institution, and we are ready to jointly work. Honestly speaking, over here, our Sanjivani University is in a rural university in Maharashtra. We have around 20 plus international MOUs where all the MOUs are active here. So we don't have anything in paper module, where we used to have a collaborative aspects and collaborative related module where Girisha have rightly coined over here. In that way, we are using further. From the management department, we are very much interested to join with you and do a research collaborative module with you, sir. We are awaiting for the second phase of discussion, and we'll move on. So on this juncture, I take a great privilege to thank you for your presence and valuable keynote address on the topic, sir. Next, always the biggest pressure falls on the last batsman of a cricket match and the last speaker, because still now the phase and the energetic mindset of plenty of events will be in a high enthu. The last player have to give a maximum contribution to maintain that enthu or the converting the enthu to the next level. So that way, ma'am have done a major module where when the starting of the session itself, she have given an energetic kickstart, which that phase was in the same till the end of our keynote address. Honestly speaking, this session from the beginning, we had 200 plus participants in our meet, and also there are few participants who have took part in the YouTube live stream also, they were there. So special thanks to you also, ma'am, your ma'am. Thanks a lot. Further, we also like to collaborate with your university in doing certain collaborative modules. Of course, in our university also, we have the scholarship module. We have special support on the economically background students. We do these sort of things. And specifically saying, we have an alumni contribution in our BC sir's presentation. When he was mentioning, we have a global wide alumni support we have. So plenty of alumni is also supporting us. Like your university, our university is also having the same practice of supporting the economically background students. That was our vision of the late founder, chairman of our university. So on his vision only, we have started our university in a rural background, and now we are contributing a lot. So further, we like to support, get your ideologies and support from your end for the further research and collaborative aspects. At last, I like to thank all the keynote address speakers at a short notice. Of course, in a very short notice, this event have come to. At last, I like to thank all the supporters, I mean, the stakeholders of our university, specifically speaking with CHRO, our IQSC director, who have supported us on the technical support. At a sudden in the morning, we had a technical glitch where these people, all of the sudden, they came and support us a lot. Special thanks to them. I like to thank our team, our students team here. This event also has been driven by our students, Ajay, Akshay, and Disha. They have took role and they have supported us a lot to make this event. They were the person who have took all the presents over here. I mean, they made all the things over here, made a live modules over here. Special thanks. The budding managers takes a lead and they are doing a great show over here. And next, I'd like to thank our coordinators over here. Special thanks to Girishar and Dr. Rashid Dubey ma'am, who made this paper into an active module. So at the first, they have narrated big, but actually speaking, the team, they have done everything. They make things like, might be a small spark or an ideology may be put forward, but converting that into an implementation area and converting that into the greater successful completion module goes to them. So special thanks to Rashi ma'am and Girish sir. And at last, I take a great privilege on behalf of Sanjeevani University and on behalf of School of Commerce and Management, I thank all the participants. So why I just want to thank all the participants at last, in the sense, I just want to give you a small data where plenty of events we used to say it is a global event. The participants from a specific environment will be there. But when you see our participation list, we have 400 plus registration in participation. I mean, participants were there. Among that, we have participants of 125 from Philippines. We had around near to 10 participants from Malaysia and 10 participants from South Africa and 40 plus participants from Oman and 100 plus participants from India who have participated today's session. So it is a true success in different timelines, different parts of the globe. We all joined to a single ideology to elevate the students community to the next phase and to give them a specific ideology on the upcoming technological and existing technological where how to implement. And this, I hope this summit is truly a successful summit because of all the participants and all the contributors and all the stakeholders over here. Once again, on behalf of Sanjeevani University and School of Commerce and Management, I take a great privilege to thank one and all over here. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for those gracious closing words and for your constant support in making this summit a great success. Now, I would like to call Dr. Girish Panoli, sir, for adding any closing remarks or points that may have missed during the session. Sir, please, over to you.
Thank you very much, madam. All the things have been said by our HOD of MBA, but I feel that I am failing into express my gratitude to all those people, those who have guided me and supported me in all the times. So since the inception of the concept of conducting the seminar, so I got the thorough support from our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. He has guided me unwaveringly and supported me a lot. We are thankful to the management of our university, Chairman, sir, and both the President, sirs, for their encouragement. Registrar, sirs, for his valuable contribution and the support to us. And similarly, I also thank to our Dean and HOD of the MBA department, Dean of School of Commerce and Management, and all the deans for their support, those who have given the encourage their faculties to join in this session. So as it is rightly said, it's a truly international conference summit. We actually planned for 2 hours, but it's coming to around the 3 hours. So how the time has passed, we don't know. Similarly, we are thankful to all the faculty members of the School of Commerce and Management and IQAC Director, CHRO, sir, for their technical support, and greatly that has made this conference viable on the even YouTube also. And our MOU, MOU and partner institutions the University of Technology and Applied Sciences, and similarly Mablaklad City College, Philippines. So Dr. Joe is instrumental in this one. He supported me a lot. So to many people, I have traveled even in the midnight, 11:30 or 12 o'clock for the success of this, what we can say, summit. Yesterday, we had a discussion with the Dr. Francisco. It was in India, 11:30 something, but it has made friends successful. And thanks to the Dr. Sri Hari Krishna for accepting our invitation at very, very short notice and making your speech very valuable one. So I thank all the people, those who have contributed from my bottom of heart without taking much more time. And my team with the Dr. Ashi ma'am, Dr. Komal madam, and the Mr. Akshay, Mr. Ajay, and Disha. I thank all the speakers and all the plenary speakers as well as the experts, those who accepted our invitation. And sir, Dr. Rahul David sir is also a live MOU reason because we have 3 organizations already. We have a MOU with the UTAS and the MCC, and we have done it. So that is also going on. So thank you very much for your encouraging words. So I ask 1-2 feedback from the participants or audience.
Sir, congratulations for this international summit, and I hope that this is a valuable outcome because AI, artificial intelligence, nowadays it is a time to think how we should have to apply AI in ethical manner, because using AI is a different thing, and how we should have to apply AI as an ethical practice, and how do we have to lead sustainability. So that reflection I found here. So that is a good
Thank you,
means
ma'am.
opportunity to we have to explore these things also. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir,
ma'am.
for yes.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Can you just introduce yourself, where you're from, Dr. Tina?
Yes, sir. Myself, Dr. Tina Mishra. I am from Parul University. So I'm working here in the Faculty of Management Studies.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
May I request all the participants to switch on their video for the photo? Program photos? So once again, thank you very much for all the participants. With the permission of the Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, shall we conclude the session?
Thanks to one and all, particularly Dr. P. Girish for making this possible, and also all the team from the Sanjivani and all the speakers. They have given really a very different output we can say, and the understanding of many of participants has been now is very clear that how to go with this. So really, and I think that such type of the uh, discussions maybe in the online mode will help us to understand, because we can reduce lot of logistic time and other things, and we can meet each other. So fortunately the technology with us, and we are taking the full advantage of technology. Thanks to the Rashi ma'am also for and all the stewards team for nicely conducting, then Dean of the SCM also, as well as Dr. Bharat sir. So thanks to one and all the speakers, all the guests, and all our partner university. Thank you. And I think that with this, we can close it now.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you,
Thank
and
you.
all for everyone. If I missed anybody's name, apologize me, and thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Narsaya, sir.
Thank you.
Hmm.